Welcome, welcome. Good morning to Crypto Info Blockchain Made Easy with your host, Frank the Crypto Tank. A very nippy Colorado morning here, 7 a.m. Welcome to the channel. We are coming to you live from sunny Colorado. Let me turn this volume down on this puppy here. All right, we're coming to you live from sunny Colorado. Welcome to the channel. XRP ETFs, what's going on here now? What is going on? Guys, they can't keep buying off OTC and dark pool now, can they? No, they can't keep doing this forever. Today I'm going to show you why. Welcome to the channel. Mario, welcome in, my Italian brother. Now look at OTC is going to dry up. Dark pool supply is going to become illiquid. This is only the initial blast of these ETFs. Whales refuse to sell their massive stock. We finally came on. Hold on here. We finally came on. Our chest phone over here. Our burner phone. Kidding. Welcome to the channel, Turdy. Welcome in. Gregory, welcome in. Here's the deal, guys. Here's what, all right, so you tuned into this channel. This is what you're going to get that, Jake Claver has been talking about and some others. And he's over the target. He's correct. Also, these banks, don't forget, they're now hoarding XRP for utility's sake coming up here in a massive way. Also, tokenization absorbing XRP into locked use, guys. Think about this. How about the ETFs? These are spot ETFs. They've got to keep this for their custody, to hold this XRP for their people. It creates tighter, it creates, what's what I'm looking for? It creates scarcity. It creates a supply shock. That's what I'm looking for. ETFs, they've been buying off these dark pools and OTCs, these over the counter. I get it. I understand. They can't keep doing this. They can't avoid this price impact that's eventually going to hit. All right? It's happening sooner or later here, guys. OTC and dark pools are not infinite. People think they are. Well, some people think they are. They're just going to keep buying. They can't keep doing it. They're not exhaustible. They are exhaustible. They're not inexhaustible. They depend on real people to have real XRP. It's not some magic door. They're actually literally... There's no hidden vault or no refill button kind of thing. They're actually really doing this. Guys, welcome in. Thriving22, welcome in again. And I think you're coming in here again. Nelson, welcome in, my brother. Guys, over-the-counter desks cannot print XRP out of thin air. Dark pools can't just manufacture new liquidity out of nowhere either. They only sell what somebody actually is willing to sell them, to give them, and then they can create a deal. Let's go deeper into how all this works, guys. What you guys know that the others do not know in the community. Once you see the mechanics, you realize how this all works, and some of you already do. It's very simple. Why and how XRP's price is going to crank very shortly. Get your popcorn out. You can't hide this forever. OTC desk dart pool, you can't hide this forever. First of all, exchanges that divert part of their inventory off the public order books, as you know, is the first way this is done to keep the price quiet. The second way, whales or early holders who are willing to part with massive XRP blocks quietly. That's another way it can happen. You can also get more XRP quietly. Ripple's own institutional allocation, which is extremely controlled. That's it. There's the only three ways. That's it. Those are the only sources to get more. There's no secret fourth source here. There's no hidden vault, like I said. There's nothing like that. XRP waiting to silently be sold. No, OTC desks are not manufacturers. They're just wholesalers. They can only sell what someone agrees to sell them. That's it. They're a platform. They're a marketplace. Once those sources dry up, the game changes instantly. Think about whales for a minute here, guys. Most XRP whales are early Ripple angels, early developers, or whatever it is, early exchanges, Asian funds too, as we well know, right? Right? Long term. Okay, these people are not eager to sell anymore, especially after the Trump pump. They know exactly what phase XRP is in right now. They're not selling. What are you talking about? They know the banks are integrating what's happening with ODL coming up here. The banks need it, and they need to hold it, have it. to be able to use RLUSD coming online. Yeah, they know the XRP-based rails, Ripple's launch. Guys, are you following all? I know you are. I know what community is. Hidden Road, Palisades. Yeah, all this. Guys, whales are not parting with their XRP. Sorry, not at these prices. No, that's not happening. Guys, welcome in. Yeah, let's keep our focus on 2026, says Nelson. Agreed. Turdy says it's 16:02 p.m. It's morning. I know, it's so weird, dude. Welcome to the channel. Guys, what about the utility demand about to explode here? So whale supply is shrinking, not growing. Duh. I mean, are we watching this? This brings us back to the ETF. Okay, so when the ETFs do their initial loading, right, after this initial loading, you see, they buy from OTC and dark pools. I get it. It's normal. It's to be expected initially, this initial wave. This is how Bitcoin ETFs started as well. Back some months ago, as you remember. At the beginning, OTC was, it was the same situation. Kept low, kept quiet. Yeah, but the truth that nobody said out loud, you guys, OTC is only good for the first wave of accumulation for these ETFs. Once they need billions more to scale, OTC can't handle it. The over-the-counter trade can't handle it. No, that desk can't handle it. It can't scale with ETF demand. So because OTC supply is not renewable, OTC supply does not magically refill itself. The desks can't just hit a restock button. Okay, I don't know if we all understand this. They must find sellers with real XRP who are willing to part with huge blocks of it. And that pool of sellers is shrinking every day, as we are well aware. To the moon, welcome in to the channel. It is definitely waiting until Mr. Powell. Yeah, we're waiting for Powell. No, boy, don't get me started. Guys, let's talk about these dark pools and what the truth is coming up with all these ETFs being launched. This initial wave, no problem, okay? Because people assume dark pools are some massive hidden ocean of liquidity, as I did too until I researched it more deeply recently. To be very truthful with you, I did not know this either until recently. Dark pools are simply matching engines. That's it. I thought they constantly can just do it by themselves quietly. They can't, and purchase. They can't off the market. No, they need a seller to agree, buyers and sellers to agree. They don't invent new supply out of nowhere. They don't create liquidity out of thin air, like I said before. It doesn't happen. They only match up what's already there. They're simply a marketplace sitting inside the pool. Okay, make sure I'm not screaming at everybody. I already am, but XRP dark pools are tiny compared to Bitcoin dark pools, guys. There are very few whales park XRP inside dark pools is why, which I bet a lot of people weren't aware of. Because most big holders are accumulating, not selling. Ripple is not supplying dark pools. Not as of now. Banks are hoarding XRP for utility. They're not selling to dark pools either. Why would they? So our dark pool liquidity is drying up faster than OTC. What does that tell you? OTC can't keep up. Yeah, this leads to a great. The only source left when OTC and dark pools fail is they have to go to the open market to purchase, and that affects price, especially with thin liquidity situation. Yeah, smaller float than Bitcoin. They got to for what about the ETFs? They got to keep it for their custodians. They can't synthetically hold XRP. These large AUMs, they've got to have it. You know that. They can't use futures. They're not using IOUs. They're not using derivatives. They're not using anything like that. No derivative exposure. They're not going to use that. Spot ETFs require the spot assets. That's it. So there's a whole bunch tied up there. Yeah, they bought for the ETF, says Gregory, when the price was 56 cents. Then supply will eventually run out. Right, we know they did. They probably bought even a lot lower. I mean, I'm not trying to trump you. I don't want to Donald Trump you. No, you're probably right. It's probably about where they bought them. So when OTC dries up, though, what are they going to do when the dark pools dry up after this initial wave, this initial phase? Look out! What? You thought Bitcoin was a thing? Yeah, they got to go directly to the exchanges to purchase, to the open market. And with the thin liquidity, the float, that exists for XRP, especially versus Bitcoin. Forget about this. This is over. This is where we're going to go into price discovery. Everybody's going to be like, what's XRP doing? Is that real? Yeah, it'll retrace a little bit here and there real quick on the hourlies. It'll retrace in short term, but it'll just keep going and going and going over the course of like 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I'm talking about God candles. Oh my gosh. The mechanics of Bitcoin, it went from 40,000 Bitcoin to 73,000 in 2 months after the ETF launch. Yeah, the OTC ran out. And that was Bitcoin. That ain't nothing. APs had no choice, as you well know, guys. They started tapping Coinbase, Kraken, every major exchange they could. Shabalabat. What's up? Guys, XRP is a little bit different. I'll get to your comments in a second, guys. I don't understand why folks aren't understanding this. What's going on? The violent action we're going to see with XRP. Its free float supply is far more restricted than Bitcoin, far more consolidated than Bitcoin's, far more tightly held than Bitcoin's was. Yeah. Massive XRP locked up in escrow, ODL corridors, institutional treasuries, future tokenization rails, ETFs. What? Yeah, we talking anybody's language? The thinner liquidity pool that it has. Dude, XRP is going to go. Somebody asked me about price the other day. Yeah, I think Jake Claver's over the target. You want to ask me? I think somebody said in the comments once the other day, a couple weeks ago, he doesn't know who Jake Claver is. Like, of course I know who Jake Claver is. I didn't know the name of his investment firm or his channel or whatever, his investment firm. But anyway, yeah, we know who Jake Claver is. And yes, he's a little moon boy-ish with price compared to some folks, but I don't think it is. Then call me a moon boy. I agree with Jake. These ETFs, guys, you can't avoid the law. It's going to go up just because it hasn't in the past. Everyone's like, I've never seen it. Every time good news, XRP news goes up. Yeah, that was before. All right, it's coming. You watch Q1, Q2, 2026. Every XRP ETF operates with a structure that requires constant rebalancing, just like every other one, guys. As flows come in, they have to create new ETF shares. That's it. That's how it works. Turdy says, well, not long ago, Zcash had huge green bar. Yeah, Zcash, yep, good. Turdy, I understand. It ain't only about XRP. It is kind of for me on the channel, though, but good for it, and I love it. I love them all. Guys, they have to acquire real XRP. There's no options here. There's no futures. There's no proxies, no IOUs. Nope. Real settled XRP inside institutional custody. Turdy, you paid attention to this? What's going on here? What's happening? Good for Zcash, Turdy, but here's the deal. XRP, I'm telling you right now, please don't let this be lost on anybody, that I am telling you all right now, guys. I'm not saying you're missing it, Turdy. I know you're not. Guys, the XRPs are about to explode because there's nowhere for them to go. They have to buy more. You buy more, you take it. Guys, XRP is also about to get burned in a huge way, being used on the ledger. Coming up here shortly. Minimal ancillary burnage at first, but then monster burnage as all get tied into XRP coming up soon. Banks integrating RippleNet and the XRP ledger are also locking up XRP. Corporate treasuries using XRP for cross-border settlement, guys. Have to hold XRP as reserve liquidity. I know you know that. Tokenized assets and XRPL have to be backed by XRP as collateral. Yo. Trying to rhyme a little bit here. Have fun. ODL corridors across all of it. LATAM, APAC, EMEA. All of it. North America. All require reserves of XRP. And now our LUSD stablecoin from Ripple. Huge. Dude, Ripple's a pretty big company, you think? Our LUSD corridors consume even more XRP. With Ripple's RLUSD. That was a good rhyme that time. And now layer on top the massive institutional shift happening through Ripple Prime, Hidden Road. Now Ripple Prime was Hidden Road. Palisade. Other treasury permissions. Look at what's going on live on the XRPL and what's going to happen with permission features getting turned on. Art, good morning, sir. I almost missed you, Art. I'm missing everybody here. Art Caffeine, it is inevitable. No doubt, says Art Caffeine. Doing the numbers, Jake Clavers makes sense. Yeah, it does, dude. I think Jake Clavers is pretty much over the target. Guys, they're not getting this out of thin air. Shabba blah 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 blah. ETFs don't just diamond hand their bags. They don't. Yep, absolutely yes, dude. 20 ETFs online and Clara just passed. Yep. Wait till this happens, guys. This is not, guys. They can't ever get more. Not tomorrow. Not next year. This is a permanent structural removal of supply when this happens with all this XRP. This is it. ETF demand is going to keep climbing. Bank demand keeps climbing. Tokenization demand keeps climbing. ETF demand keeps climbing. On and on and on as the supply shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Further and further, the price goes up and up and up and up, and everybody's going, I thought XRP was a crap coin. Yeah, whatever. Why can't ETFs just keep going back to OTC and dark pools? Really, really, really. Basically, the sources depend on someone being willing to sell, like I said. You still need it to exist. And it doesn't until it does, until somebody brings it and says, anybody want to buy this? Yeah, the whales are holding, the banks are holding, everybody's holding. ODL partners are holding. Ripple's not feeding them, they're holding. Tokenization is required, like I said, to hold inside collateral structures. Guys. Stop. I got to make this video because of the wife at home. She's like, this stuff's never going up. I'm like, no, you don't get this. Nicely. And she does get it, though. Guys, there comes a point where the system just can't absorb any more of the silent buying, and the beach ball of XRP being held under the water has to come up sooner or later in a violent way. You're not understanding. You're going to see this thing shoot. Guys, it's going to shoot and shoot and shoot. Once this buying begins on the open market, forget it. Yeah, it's going to go into price discovery and wait until we go into a bear market and it's still being used all the time for on-demand liquidity. And it's like, why is the price still going up of XRP in a bear market? Yeah, you stop to think about that one. The momentum, oh boy. Don't yell at people, Tank. Calm it down now, early in the morning. People, this is, for most people, it's early in the morning. Guys, when this liquidity thins and the order books tighten here, if folks who are paying attention to this, I'm not a financial advisor, by the way, and these bids stack up and the sellers disappear and the price has to rise. Yeah, price must rise to pull liquidity back into the market. These buyers are going to have to meet the sellers and be like, all right, I'll pay that price. All right, I know it's kind of high, but I'll bet it's higher than the state of Colorado, but I'll pay it. Yeah. It ain't no speculation. This is driven on function, market function, how demand is derived. It becomes visible. It's obvious. XRP, that even in a bear market, XRP keep going up and to the right now, child. Somebody go fetch my sweet tea. Why you at it grabbing my XRP? Remember this. Please, if you don't mind, very kindly remember this. Bitcoin did show us the blueprint here. We saw it. When MEDTFs was launched, we saw that OTC dry up. APs were forced to go to Coinbase and Kraken. Every time, bam, bam, bam. You saw XRP just go, what was it, $91 or something? A real trade that really happened. Oh, price glitch. Well, that's going to show you what the real trade's going to be once everything tightens here coming up. Yeah. Violent stuff for XRP. Yeah. Guys, XRP has tighter supply, more custodial lockups than Bitcoin. You seeing? Johan, welcome in. Guys, more bank reserve requirements, more tokenization demands, as I've said before, more treasury integration with XRP, more ODL corridor expansion, and large institutions needing to hold. Don't forget about Japan now. Yoshitaka Katao, second largest bank in Japan, saying that every bank in Japan going to be using coming up shortly now. XRP. Anybody paying attention? I know you guys are. Unlike Bitcoin, because you already positioned yourself. Hats off to you guys, the people who watch. Not a financial advisor. Guys, we have so much locked up in escrow, utility-based liquidity locked up in corporate bank treasuries as well. Don't forget ODL corridors that have to hold this XRP indefinitely to be able to actually, guys, are you paying attention? No. Tokenized assets whose collateral removes float. It removes the float. It makes this, I bet, guys, you understand the dynamics of all this? Get on some how all this works whenever you get a chance. Play the video back about 20 times if you need to. You guys need to know these details that I'm spelling out. It's not difficult stuff either if you don't know it. Some of you do. The bigger picture is really crystal clear here, you guys. These ETFs can't keep endlessly buying OTC and dark pool XRP. They just can't do it. They can't avoid the open market forever. They got to go to the open field. Like, the deer's got to go and open the field sooner or later. Take a chance and go try to scrounge more food because the well dried up over here where it was safe. Yeah, the dark pools are going to become illiquid. Not a good analogy, not nice. Yeah, these whales aren't going to sell. Neither are the institutions. Yeah, XRP says Art Caffeine, XRP will always go up through markets because XRP is not predicated on retail. It moves through world liquidity. Drop the mic. Thank you, Art. He's right. Banks hoard XRP for real utility and tokenization locks this up, and ETFs lock this up, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what do you think happens? It doesn't take a genius. You don't have to, what did Brad say? You don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen next. Increasing demand, limited supply. You don't have to go to MIT to know what happens next. You really don't. There's no more apples. We have no more apples. That's it. Wait, you got 10 of them? How did you get 10? Nobody has any. All right. We have a limited supply. More and more people are trying to get healthy around here, and they want these apples. Increasing demand. Do I have to tell you what's going to happen to those apples? And that the holder of those apples is going to probably need a security team pretty soon. All right. Anybody paying attention? Monsager, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Crypto Info Blockchain Made Easy with the Tanka. And you guys got, we're developing quite a little community here in our comment section, which I'm really loving. And I'm going to take glasses off and hats off to you guys because I'm getting hot. But even if I wasn't getting hot, hats off to you guys. Hats off, hats off, hats off. Hats off to the winners in the space coming up shortly. Not financial advice, pretty obvious. That those who, it's becoming, you know what I love? That every day, every ensuing day, it becomes clearer and clearer that the XRP holders' day in the sun is becoming nearer and nearer. It's obvious. Those who have purchased XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, IOTA, ADA, and Quant, the 8 ISOs, not financial advice, never do it, never buy any of them, and never play the video back in 3 years, whatever you do. And check the Patreon. It's kind of silly, actually, but it's fun. And we're going to add more, too. But as far as we stand now, those who have purchased any of these are about to shoot to the frickin' moon. And their portfolios are about to shoot to the frickin' moon. Where's to the moon? Where is he? I think it's pretty obvious. Guys, if you haven't seen the truth yet of XRP's ETFs and where they are going to send XRP's price in Q1, Q2 of 2026, I mean, no offense whatsoever, but I just don't know what you've been paying attention to if you're not seeing the truth of this. This can only last for so long. Once one understands even the basic mechanics of ETF inflows and basic, let's just say, liquid dynamics of ETFs, and that it's not a magic thing, especially a spot. This is why we love a spot, and this is why we told you from the very beginning. And quite plainly, I didn't actually really know why, to be honest. Way back, I was like, spot, because they have to hold it. And I'm like, I kind of knew why. And now more recently, I dug more deeply, and I said, now, wait a minute, Tanker. This is really, really, really why. Because Jake Claver's right. And hats off to Jake Claver sending me in the proper direction. Jake Claver's over the target. He's not wrong. They can only go so long. That's true. To find the next, massive stock of XRP to be able to supply. These AUMs have to hold the spot. They have to hold the actual XRP. So to be able to supply them to actually hold. And everything else I've mentioned in the video. I won't rehash it. Have a great day. And we're coming on Turkey Day tomorrow, 7 a.m. I hope you're going to have a great rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are on this planet. Please see the truth. Bitcoin, of course, is definitely a store of value. It fails 3 of the 4. Mikey Saylor, please have a seat. Sit down, young man. This is the Wharton School of Business, where we have dictionaries that have terms in it that mean things. And Bitcoin fails as a store of value. Go check it out. It fails 3 of the 4. We are not built on speculation as XRP, nor is XDC, XLM, HBAR, Algo IOTA, ADA, nor is Quant, any of the 8 ISO. They're not ISO coins. ISO's a messaging. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Oh my gosh. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you in the morning, 7 a.m. Colorado time. Have the best day ever and keep a great smile on. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving Day. Enjoy it. See you guys.